Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So it is a beautiful sunny Sunday. Yesterday it was pouring rain, it was really gray and kind of miserable. Didn't want to be outside at all. And luckily today it's like kind of the opposite. It's beautiful blue skies, nice and sunny. It is 10 degrees Celsius. I think that's about like 39 degrees Fahrenheit around there. So I thought today would be a good day to get outside in the garden. We are just entering the second week of February, and kind of a rule of thumb around here is you can prune your roses around Valentine's Day. We've had a very, very mild winter, so I think I'm okay pruning them now. I could like wait a week or so, but you know, I don't think we're gonna get those freezing temps, so I'm not too worried about it. Like I said, it's been a very mild winter, so you know, I think the roses are all pushing out new growth, so I don't think I'm doing them any damage by pruning them now. Also, if I have time, I wanted to prune my clematis as well. When I did my last video and I did a little garden walkabout and saw my clematis, some of them are pushing out new growth, like really high up on the old dead wood that just you know, doesn't look good. It's like just old from last year, so I wanted to kind of clean that up as well. I'm a little bit worried, but I think when I looked up like at least one of the clematis, it said this is February, March is around the time you can prune them down to like the first couple sets of buds, healthy buds. So I'm going to do that if I have time. So for pruning roses, I'm not an expert by any means, so this is not a how-to video. I just thought I'd take you along since I'm doing it anyways. But basically, I have learned over time that you want to take out the 3 Ds. So dead, diseased, and damaged. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to look for dead, diseased, and damaged branches or canes and cut those out. And then I'm kind of just going to prune the whole thing basically down by 1/3 or to 1/3 around that, and then try to just create airflow, so like an open vase-like shape so that the middle has airflow. And I think that's what I've learned over time is the best thing you can do for pruning roses. Another tip is always wear long sleeves because there are a lot of thorns. You don't want to get pricked by thorns. So long sleeves, I have long sleeves underneath and I have a jacket on because it is a bit chilly. Also like thick gloves, so I have leather gloves, I've got thick gloves, so you know, I specifically purchased like these leather gloves for rose pruning because they are so prickly. Like I have one Gucci, which is a very, very thorny rose, like just covered in thorns. And yeah, last thing is just like try to sanitize your secateurs or your pruners between each rose bush. So if you have one rose bush that you know might have some kind of black spot or some fungus on it, you don't want to spread it around to other roses. So you know, I have kind of wipes, these alcohol wipes that are just easy to use, so I just use those because they're nice and easy. And you can use a spray if you want, but yeah, just good hygiene for your roses. And like, you know, a lot of these roses in my garden, they've been here a long time and no one's ever really pruned them. Like it's been like times when years have gone by when no one has pruned them, so like they're very tough, like they're survivors. So I'm not too concerned. I don't think you can really mess it up, so you know, otherwise I would be a lot more careful. But the other thing I wanted to mention is to pick up the foliage. So a lot of my rose bushes, they still have leaves on them because we've had such a mild winter, and a lot of the leaves, some of them are on the ground. So you know, I'm going to try to collect as much of that as possible to dispose of, because I know that also helps with preventing black spot and other kind of diseases for your roses. All right, so let's start with the front roses, which are in a protected spot right up next to the house. So you know, I have 3 of them there now, and yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, so here we are at the front of the house, and this is probably one of the older rose bushes we have on the property. And you can see it is pretty tall. It's actually like taller than me at the highest point. You can see that there is some old remnant of an old bloom there, and here there's like new growth coming out, and there's quite a bit of old canes on here. So for example, like this one is a nice thick one, but it's very brown. Even though it has some green at the bottom, like it goes brown, so that's one of the older ones. So I'm gonna see if I can take that one off. It is gonna be a little tough because it is so thick, so I might have to put some elbow grease into that one, maybe get my mini chainsaw to get that one out. And you can see like there has been a lot of pruning done in previous years, and then it just sends out new growth. So this is new cane, this is a relatively new cane, and that's what I want. Like I want space in the middle. This one is pretty nice. It is going straight up, so I probably will keep this one, and I like how it goes out rather than in towards the wall. Yeah, so let's see what happens. And the other thing I should mention is I'm not too concerned like if I lose this rose, because it is like so old and I would be happy to replace it. It's just that my mom planted this a really long time ago when we first built this house, so she's got sentimental attachment to it, but I don't. So I'm gonna try to do what I can to rejuvenate it, but yeah, if I do lose it, I'm not too concerned. Also, I wanted to mention here, like, we have these black dots along the cane, and that's like kind of all over, like those black dots, and I don't know what those are, so I don't know if that's like a type of disease or what that is, but it does seem inevitable. Like, it's very hard to kind of avoid that because I'm in the Pacific Northwest where it rains a lot. So if you do know like what these spots are, let me know. Like, I don't spray my roses at all. I don't think it's really worth it. I don't want to do that much maintenance, but it would be just interesting to know. Okay, let me show you the after. So I did have to pull out my little mini chainsaw, which I just got on Amazon. It was like around $100, but it's very handy. And so what I did is, if I look down into the crown, I did take off that very old branch. You can see that's this big thick one here. That old cane is gone, and I took out another like pretty substantial cane as well, so 2 of them are gone. And I kind of cleaned up this area a little bit, but here is that cane. Sorry, I just got caught here. My jacket got caught here on the thorns. So this is that really big cane that I took out. So it is a little bit difficult because you can see all this new growth on it, but I think this is going to be really good for the rose. Time will tell. But this giant cane, you can see like it's quite old and it's very thick at the bottom, and the new growth was coming off of it, but I think the new growth coming out of the bottom will be much better. So this one, I just wanted to like show it to you guys, but yeah, I'm gonna cut it down a little bit before I put it in this bag to dispose of in my compost bin. And the other one I wanted to show you was this one. So this is another very old cane. You can see from the bottom like just how old it is. It's like very brown, and this one was taken out as well. It's quite tall, and yeah, I think it'll be much healthier plant with these gone. One thing I can show you, this one had kind of this brown circle in there, which I don't know if it's a sign of disease, but I think that's a good one to have taken out. So now what remains is I have, get the other ones out of the way to show you. It's a little bit hard to see, but so I've got this one which is coming outwards, which is what I want. I want it to come out away from the wall. There's lots of room in the middle, like tons of airflow. That won't be an issue. I decided to keep this branch here. I might cut this one down a little bit lower, but for now, like, I think it's coming out this way, which is good. I might trim this back down to an outward facing bud, so like just above this one, so that this one will go this way. And then I have one in the back. I was kind of iffy about that one because it is going into the wall, but I think I'll leave it for now. I suspect that I will have some more growth coming up, like for example this one and maybe something out of there. And when those come out, I think I'll probably eventually will take that one out, but I'll leave it for now. So I took out any kind of dead, disease, damaged, any kind of crossing branches, made sure I had lots of airflow in the rows. And yeah, I think I did a pretty good job, but only time will tell. We'll see this summer like how this rose responds, because it usually puts on a beautiful display of very large blooms, and it's kind of nice having this large kind of anchor piece in the corner. So we'll see how it does this year. All right guys, so this rose is done. I don't have any foliage to remove, so there's no leaves on there. I could probably pick up some of the leaves down there, but I think most of them are from trees, so I don't think there's really anything I need to worry about too much. And then the next rose is one that I actually just planted last year in like October, I believe it was. So it was planted pretty late. I planted it in a cardboard box to avoid rose replant disease. I did spread some crushed eggshells around the base just to make sure like no critters kind of got to it, like avoid slugs and snails and things like that. Now this rose, I'm gonna have a seat here. I got my little stool so I can defoliate it, and it's a little bit hard to do. Like this is the first year I'm actually doing this, where I'm actually stripping it of all its leaves. It feels like the wrong thing to do, but you know, that's apparently what you're supposed to do. That's what I've heard from experts. So I'm gonna do that first before I do any pruning. And you can see it actually does have a black spot on it, which is kind of unavoidable in my climate, but it doesn't really bother me. Like I'm not gonna spray this or anything, but I figure, okay, let's try to mitigate it at least what I can do. And this year, try stripping the leaves. It is its first year of this rose bush. This is a Queen of Sweden, David Austin rose, which is supposed to have like kind of an upright vase-like habit. So let me strip those leaves and then I'll show you how it looks after. All right, so here I have defoliated this rose bush, and I'm not gonna lie, this is a pretty tedious task. I haven't really done it in the past, so I'm not really sure how necessary it is. I think if you want like really amazing roses, you know, the healthiest ones you can possibly get, then maybe do this. But I don't think, you know, if you're like me and, you know, you're just okay with okay roses, you don't have to have them perfect, then maybe you don't have to do this, because it is quite tedious, like I said. So basically I've taken off all the roses, any kind of rose leaves on the ground. I've collected those as best I could and disposed of those in the compost. I left a couple on here just to show you. Basically what I did was I would take the leaves and just pull them downwards, and then they would come off very easily. So, you know, try not to like damage the bush when I don't want to like yank these off. So I just pull it down and they come off quite easily, just like that. So that's done, and now I can kind of look at it to see what I want to prune on this one. This one is like a new rose that was just planted like last year, but you can see it does have some kind of dieback here. So I think it is a little congested too. So it's probably good to try to prune some of this out. So let me just quickly disinfect my secateurs and I'll be right back to show you what I'm gonna do to prune this one. So for this job, because these canes are a little bit thinner, I got my smaller, more like thinner pruners or secateurs. So I'm gonna do the easy ones first, so like the ones that are brown. So let me just show you. So you see how this one is brown, this one is brown, this one is brown, so those are dead. So those are easy ones. I'm just gonna cut those off. I'm not really gonna pay attention to where. It's not really that important right now. And I will be collecting those afterwards. I just need my one hand to film this. All right, oh, here's another one. You see how this one is all brown, so I definitely want to take that one off. Those are the dead branches. This one is also looking like it's got some dieback. Let's cut that off. This one here is all black. That one. Okay, so I believe I've got all the dead. Now diseased, that one is a little bit more tricky because I'm not that familiar with diseased, but I don't really see much disease on here. This is like a new rose bush, so I don't think that's too much of a factor. I'm gonna take this one off here that's yellowing. Okay, and damaged, I think, like, yeah, I did get kind of the damaged off. Like this one is a little bit damaged down here. See, it's like rubbing against the other one. So I'm gonna take that one down. All right, so dead, diseased, damaged. Now I have to prune for airflow. So the center of this is actually pretty nice. It's got a lot of openness in the center, but there is a bit of congestion in the bottom there. So I'm gonna have to make some choices here about what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. So one of the things I look at is crossing branches. So here, these two are rubbing against each other. So I do want to have to kind of pick one because you don't want them rubbing against each other. So that's gonna be, I have to make a choice there about which one I want to keep. So let's see, which one should I keep? I feel like if that one, if I cut this outward facing bud, it's going to go back inwards, which I don't want. So I don't want to cut it there. Maybe I'll cut it just above here. Sometimes it's tough making these choices, so it's a little tough, but what you should do is just take out all the ones that are thinner than a pencil size. So maybe I'll do that first and then look at it again. All right, so this is my after, and I'm sorry, this is kind of boring. I didn't want to belabor like every single cut I made. I think that was just like, you don't want to watch me agonize over, should I cut this, should I not? So I just thought I'd show you the after product. So, you know, I was pretty conservative. I took out any kind of crossing branches. I tried to leave a lot more on this one because it is a new bush that was just planted in like late October. So I just want to give it a chance to kind of establish a little bit more before I make more severe cuts. But I think I did a pretty good job. Like nothing is crossing. I made sure to like, you know, cut where the buds would go outwards rather than inwards. So yeah, I think it's defoliated, so it's ready to go. It's done, and hopefully this does well here. And my next one is just over here. So this is like kind of the before. So it's a pretty tall kind of red rose, and you can see all the new growth on it. It is going to be a severe prune job on this one, so I'm going to take it back pretty severely. So I'm just going to show you guys the after on that one because again, I don't want to, you know, bore you with like my belaboring every single point on this one. So I'll just show you before and then I'll show you after. All right, everybody, I'm gonna wrap it up. I actually only got through 3 rose bushes today, but on the bright side, I got through this bed. I cleaned up a little bit of the phlox and the alyssum as well. So tidied it up, a bit of the browned parts. So this is my first rose, looking pretty nice. Hopefully that does well. It's also one of the oldest ones. This is my newest rose, Queen of Sweden. And this one is a little bit smaller, but you know, I think it's gonna do well. And then this one is another really old one. Pruned it back very severely, as you can see. So I've just left like kind of 3 strong canes there, and I think that will hopefully do well. And this is one I'm probably looking at replacing eventually anyways. So here we go. And you can see the 3 roses are relatively close in size, so that's good as well. And this is my purple pillar. That's like kind of wild, but I'm gonna leave that for now. So that's all I can do for today, but I think it's looking really nice. You can see a lot of my daffodils are, you know, coming up. A lot of them are on this side, and yeah, it's very early for daffodils, but like I said, we've had a very, very mild winter, so these will be blooming pretty soon. Happy with it overall. So thanks for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one.